Welcome to another TMMI video presentation. Today we'll be talking about Prophecy Historian install and demo for version 7.0. Our objectives are to install the server and collector components, install the 7.0 web server, and demonstrate the Historian web admin and trend interface. Our assumptions: we have an IGS OPC server already installed, and we don't have a Windows Server OS, IIS, or SQL Server as a part of our setup. This is the installation image, and to install the server components, you click on the Install Historian link at the top. And what we'll go through is the wizard here and basically just kind of accepts the defaults as far as location, directories. We're going to set up just a simple single server. And also we have to create an admin password that will be used later with the web interface. We are not going to integrate this in with Windows Security, and we are ready to install. So through the magic of video editing, this install is going to go quite a bit faster than what you will see in real life. But what you will see is there's a lot of different kinds of components that are installed. You see a Java runtime engine, the web server install, just about done here. There's the two shortcuts on our desktop, as well as the shortcuts to the help, and we are successful. Your results will take a little bit longer, but you should also be successful. All right. Of course, we have to reboot, and again, through the magic of video editing, we reboot very quickly. So on coming back up, the first thing to look at is I like to go look at the services control panel to look at the Historian components, which mostly all run as services. And what you can see are the main services for Historian Data Archiver, Client Manager, Configuration Manager, Diagnostics Manager. You'll also see a new embedded Tomcat container and PostgreSQL database, as well as an indexing service, which are new to 7.0. All right. So let's go find our Historian administrator, and let's put a little shortcut on our taskbar here, make life easier. And you can see when we fire that up that the one collector that we installed, the simulation collector, which is a part of the server install, is there. So we're going to go through and just add a few tags just to get a little data coming into our system here. And what you'll see is that a lot of this is pretty typical from what you've seen with other Historian setups. Pretty standard stuff, okay? And we'll start having data coming in for these tags and going into our default data stores. All right, so now what we're going to do is actually go through and install some additional collectors. There's a separate install for that. And you'll see that they have a legacy collector section that you go to. And what it will then do is provide you with the tree view that you're used to seeing that shows all the different collector pieces, all the different collector types that Historian supports. So there you go. We have the calculation file, iFix, OPC. Simulation you can see is already checked. You can uninstall it from this menu, as well as some other collectors, and also client tools you can access through this as well. So there's a little bit of overlap between this and the client tools install. So we're just going to go through the defaults. We're going to set up an OPC collector with our IGS OPC server. And again, through the magic of install, ours is going to move along very, very quickly here. And guess what? Of course, we have to update the licensing. It actually just checks to see if it needs to be updated. It's already there. And of course, we will need to reboot. A few more items here, a few more cleanups. And there you go. You will be asked to reboot when you close the installer. So we'll close the installer, we'll reboot our machine, and we're back. So we'll go back and fire up the administrator again. And you'll see that we've got the simulation collector, file collector. What you didn't see me do was go in there and set the services startup on that OPC collector to automatic. It still defaults to manual. So one thing that's not included in the setup that needs to be but is not is the installation of the certificate that's generated during the install. So what I'm showing you here is how to go about and do that manually. The password here is the word password lowercase, and if you just go in and add this to the proper trusted root certification authority, it will install that certificate, and then you'll be able to access the web interface. If you don't do that, you will not be able to fire up either of the web interfaces. So we'll start with the administrator piece. So the default username is admin with the password that you entered in during the install. There's an authorization you need to do the very first time that you run this. And you'll notice the Java update because there is a Java runtime. And this is the most recent Java that's supported with this, so the updates should be fine. But this is the admin web interface that's very similar to what was available with the Historian 6.0 Enterprise only. So this is available with both Standard and Enterprise in Historian 7. And you can see as this is coming up here, we'll see our data node here. We have some stats that we can see on sample rate, receive rate. We can see our collector. Actually, we can see all of our collectors. Looks like our calc collector started up. And also the cool thing about the web interface is that you get to see the clients. So you get to see all the different client connections that you have at the very bottom of that screen. You can drill into a lot of things. You can look at your different data stores. You can look at all different kinds of metrics through all different kinds of time frames, shortcuts up there at the top. You can do the same thing with collectors. What it will typically do is show you the collectors that are the most active or ones that are having issues. But you can set it up to show all the collectors. And here we are looking at some tag configurations so that you can see defaults for the simulation collector. You can see tags for it down below. If we go select a tag, Guess that's just showing the tags themselves. So here I am showing all the collectors. And then the configuration for the OPC server collector, OPC collector. So I recorded this video a little bit ago, a few days ago, and I think what I was trying to do is find out where do you configure tags. So here's the system config, some defaults on that. So if we go back home, go to configuration. So there's a dashboard side and a configuration side, I guess are the two little buttons up there. So again, if you highlight the collector, it'll show the tags. And then at the very bottom is the edit button for the tag. So that's how you get to the tag to make changes to the tag. Kind of subtle. Maybe it's there on purpose so you don't accidentally fat finger something. And you can see some trends of your data, just like you can in the regular administrator. They got a few different formats here. And so on. So again, highlight the tag, then go hit the edit button in the lower right corner, and it'll bring you up all the properties of the tag. And then there's the tabular output that you can look at as well. All right. So I think we're about done here looking at the administrator tool. Now we're going to go take a look at the trending interface. So this is now included with Historian 7, both enterprise and standard. And basically what this is kind of a stripped down version of PHA 6.0. A lot of the same objects, a lot of the same interface. So if you're familiar with those products, this will be easy for you to pick up. A few differences though. The way that you pick tags, you can see here is a little bit different than it is in PHA. You have to kind of get them up into that tag region. Once they're up there, then you can drag and drop them on top of the object that you want. So I'm dragging a couple of tags there on top of a line chart and just showing there. What you can also do is drag a box around an area, and that'll allow you to zoom in on it, which is what I just showed there. And I'm adding another pen to it. I'm showing the statistical area beneath the line chart there. I can go in and change which axis my different pens show up on. And I can also go in on a pen by pen basis and change the color, the scaling, and even the type of chart on a per point basis. So I can really customize this as much as I want to. So I'm going to go in here and I think change this one to an area chart. And hopefully that will give me something useful to use. All right. I can add another chart just by clicking on the top piece up there and then go in, drag a pen down, and boom, I've got another chart created. In addition to that, we've also got our time, and we've also got our different sampling modes that we can adjust from Historian. So we can choose what kind of sampling mode we want to use to grab data from Historian, whether we want a calculation done or we want to use one of the other different sampling modes. So you can just select that, hit apply, and in this case it applied it to the trend, to the second trend on the list there. So some key takeaways: very, very easy to install the Historian and Web UI components. The Web UI requires a manual registration of the certificate. It does use Tomcat, the latest Java runtime, HTML5, but no server OS or SQL Server, and it installs automatically on the Data Archiver server only. The web admin shows the current status of the archiver collectors and clients, very interactive performance metrics, and the web trend is included with Historian 7, no additional licensing. And the trends are similar to PHA, but there's no equipment model, no favorites, and no expressions. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for more TMMI videos at our YouTube site.